Okay, I've hit the blue button.
Hello, we are live. Welcome to our last book club discussion of 2022. Isn't that amazing, Brenda?
It is
What a year
amazing. I can't believe it.
what a year we've had. I cannot think of a better person to close out the year or a better book. So we are going to be discussing The Perfect Love Song with Patti Callahan Henry, who we all love so much. And we love this book too. And we know you guys are super excited because we've seen all the posts and the comments and the questions. So, Brenda, do you want to introduce our fabulous guest?
I would love to do so. Well, Patti Callahan Henry is a New York Times, EPCA, Globe and Mail, and USA Today bestselling author of 16 novels, including her upcoming The Secret Book of Floralia, due out in May. She's also podcast host of original content for her novels, Surviving Savannah and Becoming Mrs. Lewis. She's a recipient of the Christie Award Book of the Year, the Harper Lee Distinguished Writer of the Year, and the Alabama Library Association Book of the Year for Becoming Mrs. Lewis. She is, of course, also most well known to us as one of the Fab Four who created Friends in Fiction, the show and the podcast. She's also a contributor to the monthly life lesson essay column for Parade magazine. Welcome, Patti, to the book club tonight.
I mean,
so I'm getting that weird feeling like, oh, this is what our guests go through. Like I can see you and you can't see me.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Plus, it always feels like you're talking about me, like it's not me. Oh, wow. Who's that author? That is really cool. That's awesome.
You have a pretty impressive resume, my friend.
No. I think the most impressive thing is that we did Friends in Fiction. I think that's the best part of that resume, to be honest.
Well, it is pretty amazing. And it did help a lot of people out in a time of just great, confusion and loss, really.
Well, last week, Mary Kay and I had a book signing in Atlanta, and Lisa came, as well as a number of our Friends in Fiction people. And I remember I was sitting up there on the stage with Mary Kay thinking, how much more fun this all is now that we have this community, right? There's always been fun people who have showed up at book signings. We have, the best readers in the world, but to know that, to see everybody see each other, like, oh, hey, they're waving, they're not looking at us, they're like waving at each other. So
well, I think they are.
No, they're looking for each other. That's what they're doing. So,
but they're also looking for each other.
It was such a fun event too. Like there were a lot of our book club members and Friends in Fiction family members. And it's so funny you brought it up because I wanted to share with you. I was going to do this a little later, but it's kind of perfect since you brought it up.
Apropos.
But I wanted to share with you what one of our book club members, and of course now I can't find it. Oh my goodness. Bubba.
I love that Bubba. How
when
can you not love Bubba?
I know, she's such a light, but she shared a comment about meeting you last week, and it was just so beautiful. She said, she was talking about for book club tonight, and she mentioned that she loved the book. She fell right into it and read it all in one sitting. And she said, I actually got to meet Patti at an event last week, and it was exactly like a moment that happens in this book. The characters finally see a place that they have only ever imagined in their heart. Their first thought is, how is it possible that it is more beautiful than I imagined? Yep, that is exactly how I felt when I met Patti.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet.
That's so sweet.
That's like gonna cry before we even get started.
That's like a Christmas present for me.
I know. It was so sweet. I had to share. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was like, I just want to talk a little bit about you and Mary Kay. So they had an event at the Alfreda Library last week in Atlanta. We probably had, I'd say, 7 to 10 book club members there, and Kimberly Brock was there, and Christopher Swan was there, and the Atlanta Writers Club. So there was a lot of people in the audience, and the ticket said that the event was going to last from 6 to 7:30. So we all thought that that would be like partially on stage and then partial signing. But they had this amazing presentation, which was kind of like, this is your life.
We
They
had no
started
idea
from
either.
the beginning
Oh,
of their careers and went by decade for all the books. And I'm telling you,
oh
it
my
was
gosh.
we were so engulfed. They were on stage. Patti and Mary Kay were on stage for an hour and a half, and they completely captivated this audience. And that's a long time to be on stage. Like, I would have had to go to the bathroom.
And we had no idea. Like, so
Yeah.
we came prepared with our like back and forth questions about the 2 Christmas novellas. We didn't realize that Annelle was doing this, like, this is your life retrospective. She started with our friendship, how we met, because we met before my first book, before I ever sold a book, we met. And she went through that, and then decade by decade, all of our work. It was pretty cool. It was really fun.
It was amazing. And the chemistry between you guys, and, being part of this family and hearing some stories you can hear over and over and it never gets old. But I felt like I knew you both more after that.
Oh,
And I was
sweet.
just like, this is amazing. And we had such a good time. And
It was fun.
so
In fact,
it
we
was a
left
great
and we were driving home, and Mary Kay, if you're watching, she couldn't find her car. So we were like wandering around the parking deck. Because remember, Lisa, we walked over to the restaurant and then she drove her car. She couldn't remember where she parked. And the whole time didn't even care. We were lost. We were like, that was really fun. Wasn't that really fun? That was really fun. Because you don't always say that when you leave an event. So it was really fun.
It was.
Love seeing the photos.
So much fun.
I know, totally. Well, if I could change the subject for a moment to a little thing that we're going to discuss tonight, called The Perfect Love Song, excuse me, which I love this cover. I don't know if this was the original cover or not, Patti.
We can talk about that, about what changed.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, well, that sounds good. So we're really looking forward to discussing this novel tonight. I know it's your only Christmas book so far, but it's so beautiful and lyrical and musical, really. So we can really feel the spirit of Maeve and of the music. But for those who haven't had a chance to read it, could you give us, I know it's been since 2010, but could you give us a little summary?
It's an old book. I will give you a summary, but what's fascinating is it's at least 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old. And it is a spin-off of a book I wrote called When Light Breaks, which is one of my favorite novels that I wrote. I loved that novel because there's a woman in it named Maeve who lived in the 1920s in a small village called the Clauda Village on Galway Bay. So, me and Ireland and all the little things. So I was really excited to write that book. And then when it was done, I thought, that story's just not over, because I want to know what happened to the main character's best friend and the other main character's brother. So in The Perfect Love Song, I have the best friend of the main character from When Light Breaks and the brother of the band, lead singer of a band called the Unknown Souls, brother, fall in love. And they don't want to fall in love. He's in, I always call it, they're the opening band for the opening band. Like they are the band that plays before the opening act. And they're 2 brothers, the brothers Sullivan, and they travel around trying to make a name for themselves. And they haven't broken out yet. If I could pick another career with the talent I do not have, I would love to be a singer-songwriter. I think it's a dream job, and the only place I could possibly do it is in a novel. So I get to live vicariously through Jimmy and Jack and their band and songwriting, and got to play with songwriting. And the synopsis, just briefly, is that Jimmy is trying not to fall in love with Charlotte, and he writes a love song about unexpected love entering in his life, and how he didn't expect this love to enter his life, and this love burst through and entered his life. And he sang it at a concert, and somebody heard it, I don't want to give away too much, and said it was the perfect Christmas song because it was about unexpected love entering the world. And the story unfolds from there as Jimmy must make decisions about what's more important, fame or love or family. They have an estranged father who we never find out what happened to him in When Light Breaks, but we do in this novel. And then it all culminates in Ireland because Cara, Charlotte's best friend and the main character from When Light Breaks, and her fiance, Jack, Jimmy's brother, are getting married in the Claddagh village of Ireland. And so the movie, I'd love if it was a movie. The book culminates. I saw it as a movie. That's why it culminates in the Claddagh village. And what was so much fun to write was that I got, of course, because there's Christmas. So there's 3 different Christmas miracles that occur that add a tinge of magic to the book. And
who would have thought about that? Magic and
magic. Who thought Patti might believe in make-believe? I don't know. So that's going to be my new motto: believe in make-believe. So it's one of my, it was such a sweet story to write, and I loved pretending to be a songwriter. And I still feel like that story has a lot left in it. I just haven't visited it yet because the band and Charlotte have new lives now. So we'll see what happens to them.
Well, that was
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the questions. And it's not a spoiler because we can just say, yes, we want to know more.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely want to know more.
And it definitely unfolded that story because it's a very slim novella. I mean, it's not a novel, it's not a long book. It was a very visual story, as you can tell by reading it. There's a lot of scenery. There's the landscape means a lot in this book. The landscape of South Carolina and the landscape of Ireland has a lot to do with the story.
You know, it certainly does. Go ahead, Lisa.
I just wanted to give a special shout out to Christy Woodson Harvey, who's watching. Hi, Christy.
Hi, love.
And she says, those who don't believe in magic never find it.
Oh, Christy, I'm going to get you a cross-stitched pillow with that on there. Don't think I won't. Or a tea towel.
Great idea.
Yeah, kitchen towel.
That's a great idea. Well, I think we have, as we're talking to Patti about the perfect love song, I just will say real quickly, we're spoiler free until 7:15, which it already is. So I guess that was fortunate. We moved up our spoiler free time so we could spend more time getting into the book because that's one of the advantages that we have is we can be spoiler free. But book club members, any questions you have for Patti, please put in the chat. And hopefully we'll be able to get Patti's answer. But I'm kind of going all out of the box here because I know Lisa has a question for you, but I did want to explore what you said about the landscape of the Low Country and the landscape of Ireland. Could you expand on that a little bit? Because it's very vivid in the book.
Yes. So I think I have a theory that is unproven, that we all respond to different landscapes, right? That we all have this internal geography that resonates with an external landscape. So somebody else might be in Arizona and the desert and that is what they respond to. And I love a good craggy, marshy coast. I always have. Maybe it's because I spent a lot of my summers in a place up north called Cape Cod. So it's just the bays and the marshes and the big craggy rocks. So Ireland feels like that. And then the Low Country also without the rocks, but the marshy area. And for my characters, those two settings echo the story. So there was an overarching myth. I know you're shocked. I have a myth in my book. I know this is shocking. I know, mind blown, but there is a myth that overarches the perfect love song. And it's a story or a legend or a myth of the Claddagh ring and what the Claddagh ring is, how it came to be. It's about waiting for your true love. And Maeve, the main character, who has passed away before the book even starts, had told this myth to the characters. And so the myth kind of weaves its way in, and that myth is very landscape based. So because the Claddagh ring was forged and made in the Claddagh village where they go at the end of the book.
Oh, yes.
I love
We
it.
should have probably dug up a picture of a Claddagh ring for anyone who doesn't know what it is. It's the very familiar, I usually have one, I sometimes have one on, it's the heart with the hands and the crown.
Yeah.
So sometimes you see it as a door knocker, sometimes you see it as a ring people wear, but the legend of the Claddagh ring came out of this small village on Galway Bay. So that myth is, and because, to answer your question, Brenda, because that is so tied to the land, the story had to be tied to the land too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to put one up on here. I hope
Oh,
this is
there it is.
accurate.
And that's not me.
Does that look right? Okay.
What a cute girl.
So one of the questions in the chat is actually from Maria Lou. She wanted to know if you own a Claddagh ring.
I do.
So,
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I wear it sometimes. It's one of my favorites. I have a very simple one. But it's just exactly like that picture. But I've seen people with like stones in the heart and, emeralds on the hands or in the crown on it. But I have a very simple gold Claddagh ring that I got in Ireland. So this has nothing to do with the book, but my daughter was an Irish dancer. And so we got to take her a couple times. She qualified for Worlds. It's called Worlds. And so I think we got it on one of those trips, but.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. We have quite a few book club members who say they have a Claddagh ring.
Oh,
so
sweet.
It's popular. Mary has hers on right now.
Oh, nice.
Susie Baldwin has one and wears it often.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
I should have worn it tonight. But if you haven't read the book yet, it's fine. But the myth is in there and you'll learn a lot more about where the ring came from, what it means, the jeweler who forged it, the village where it came from. It's really interesting.
So cool. So in this book, it's the interpretation of people, like they wrote the song as their love
there we
song.
Go.
And then
it's in there. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, Lisa. I just wanted to show that.
Okay. And the perfect Christmas. Let me start over. I'm like, da-da-da. So
I sidetrack. I tangent. I get us off track. Go ahead.
No.
I just missed the screen. I didn't see what you guys saw. So I'm like, what?
Oh, she held up that part of the book that says the legend of the Claddagh ring.
Oh, okay. Because I'm only looking at your beautiful face, Patti.
Oh,
sorry, Lisa.
No, we're
I got you distracted.
I'm usually the one that gets you distracted, so it's funny for me. Okay, so in the book, the song was kind of left to interpretation. So they wrote it as their perfect love song, but then it was interpreted to be the perfect Christmas song. So my question is, and we want to pose this to our members watching as well, what is your perfect love song and what is your perfect Christmas song?
Oh, I love that.
And Brenda, I want you to we're going to answer too. So, but Patti, you can go first.
Oh, my perfect love song. There is a Vince Gill song that every time I hear it, I just stop. I just can't even believe how beautiful it is. He wrote it for his wife, who is Amy Grant. And he wrote it. I'm going to get teary-eyed. He wrote it when he first met her. Like the very first time he met her. And it's called Whenever You Come Around. Whenever you come, I get weak in the knees and I lose my, I can hardly speak. The words won't come. I'm not going to sing, but I'm scared to death. It's just this really, like, you can tell he probably went home and just went, wrote this song because it's about how he feels when she walks into the room, whenever you come around. So that is it. And I've seen him sing it with her after being married for 30 years. Like they just have this. I don't know. It's just beautiful. And then my perfect Christmas song. It's not When Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Thank goodness.
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding.
I know I said this on the show the other night, and I'm not from Tennessee, but my goodness, I love that song, Tender Tennessee Christmas, because it's about coming home. It's the only Christmas for me. So it's about, like, everybody can have whatever their Christmas is. It can be a snow-capped mountain or a beach or whatever, but this kind of tender family gathering is the only Christmas for me.
Oh,
so if we take out the word Tennessee, it can be anywhere you want it to be. How about y'all? I want to hear.
Brenda, do you want to go?
Rat, I knew you would do that. No, I'm torn because I didn't really think about, I didn't think about this in advance. Okay, I'm going to give you my sort of, like, maybe not all-time musical answer, but one of the most beautiful, you may know that I love ice skating, and Barb Underhill and Paul Martini skated to When a Man Loves a Woman years ago, and it was just about the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. So I'm going to say the love song. And Christmas song, I think The Little Drummer Boy.
Oh, it's such a sweet one.
Is mine.
I love that.
I like that one too. My favorite love song, I have two. But my perfect love song is Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. It's one of my favorites. Awesome. And my Christmas song that I always love is This Christmas.
Oh, I love that one too.
Fireside is, I can't sing either, so
I can't sing, especially when I have a cold. But I guess I should have probably said the song, my first dance song, which was It Had to Be You. It had to be you.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a beautiful song. So we have quite a few. Dawn's song is Your Song by Elton John. That's a good one.
Good one.
Tammy Rose, her favorite Christmas song is The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Nat King Cole. Debbie says Precious,
Crosby. Like
Precious and Few. Oh yeah, Precious and Few is my hubby and my song. Yeah. And Sharon loves that song by Vince Gill.
Yeah. It's a good
Anissa, Where Are You Christmas? And You Are Still the One. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Still the one. Wow, we have a lot.
Singers.
I know.
We'd have to do the Milli Vanilli thing because
you got that right.
I don't think any of us are
I'm terrible.
Pouring out. Yeah.
Christy Woodson Harvey.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me.
No.
Is a surprise. James Taylor. Close Your Eyes is a perfect love song.
I had no idea she liked James Taylor so much. Did you know?
I'm totally shocked by it.
I know. Once again.
Her Christmas song is Silent Night if she has to choose, but she said there's so many Christmas songs.
Silent Night. Silent Night will give you chills, especially when sung in the dark when they're passing around the candles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. During candlelight service. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just, Lisa's laughing. I'm going to interject here. I like the Little Drummer Boy in general, but the one with, you mentioned Bing Crosby, the duet with Bing Crosby and David Bowie is just, weeping.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you're right. It's up to
so many good ones
interpretation.
in here.
And that's what the whole story hinged on was, do you interpret
Right.
this song? He's saying this is not the perfect Christmas song. This is just a love song. And for commercial success, they're saying it's a Christmas song. So it's however we come to it. I think it's
Yeah.
just like a
Exactly.
story. We can read the same book and be like, that's a comedy, that's a mystery, it depends what we bring to something, whether it's a song or a book.
Well, and the neat thing I thought about that too was not only, did the industry think it was something different than what they intended, but Jimmy's dad thought it was that it brought them back together. So that was another layer. And that was just so fascinating.
They each took what they needed out of it. And I think art is that way. A painting or a photograph. I think books are always that way. And people will come up to us and say, I loved the theme of X in your novel. And you're like, oh, yeah, I meant to do that. So I think we come to art and music and take out of it what we need out of it. And so Jimmy's father got one thing out of it. The people who wanted a commercial success got another. Charlotte got another. Jimmy got another, right? And then of course to Jack and Kara, the song started to possibly represent betrayal and leaving the band and breaking things up. So everybody came to that song with their own baggage.
Well, and it's funny too, because as I read the book, I thought I knew what the song was, like I could hear it in my head, but then I realized there's really no song, in here. But
I want somebody to write it. Maybe Vince will write it for me. I don't.
Did you hear a voice singing a song in your head while you were writing? Did you have a specific voice or inspiration?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think that, like I said, Vince is always my go-to when it comes to country music, but, through the years, I think different people's voices have risen out of that song for me. Well, that was the backstory I was going to. So I wrote that book, and the publishing house that published it went out of business. So I got the rights back to it. And when I was publishing Becoming Mrs. Lewis, they were like, do you have any of your other books that you have rights back to? And I said, I do. I have my favorite little Christmas novella. So if you read the original version and this version, they're a little bit different. They definitely have different covers, but they're also a little bit different. I updated it. People have cell phones now. So there were things I changed in the year of 2018 that I had not done when I wrote it in 2009.
Wow. That is so cool. Because I wondered, because I saw 2 copyright dates.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you about that.
Too.
And I was like, 2010 and 2019. I'm like, that's different, but that's so cool to know that you were able to.
So a decade apart,
and
I updated it and kind of, you'll notice the ending's not, oh yeah, I didn't realize they had the.
Yeah, I wanted to show this too, because there's the little preview of Becoming Mrs. Lewis in there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And I love the cover of the new one with the guitar and the mistletoe and it's beautiful. So yes, there's 2 different versions that aren't that different. The story is essentially the same. It's just a little bit updated.
That's
so
just
neat.
Fabulous. Lisa.
So Meredith would like to know, was there a real life Maeve inspiration?
There was not. The inspiration for instead of the legend of the Claddagh ring growing out of Maeve, Maeve grew out of the legend of the Claddagh ring. So I went into that story, When Light Breaks, with an idea that there would be an overarching legend or myth that would impact our character, whose name is Kara. And it does, it changes her life. And so Maeve grew out of the actual legend. And I loved making her from the village where the legend originated. And she now is living in America and in a nursing home. So she was not inspired by a particular person. She was inspired by the legend itself. Thanks. That's a great question.
Nice.
I don't think anybody's asked me that. That's a great question.
Oh,
Yay.
awesome.
I've been talking
I
about
did.
this book in a long time. It's great. So much fun to talk about.
That was another question, but before I get to that, I want to share.
Since we were
Y'all are so
talking about,
good. I can't look at the
the cover.
screen
Yeah.
and do. That's what
Normally,
we have
Brenda.
Sean and Meg for in the background. We're-
I was gonna say Lisa's doing awesome. I usually have to bring up the graphics. But
Well,
we thought of
just-
this, you were talking about the cover. This is amazing.
Yeah, our book club members have been so excited, and they've posted
Oh,
photos.
look at
and
that.
Molly Neville did this picture when she posted and said, "I cannot wait to discuss this beautiful." Well, I don't want to mess up her words because they're better than that. Okay. "I can't wait to discuss this one. The perfect love song is a perfect mix of magic, myth, family, love, and Christmas."
Oh my gosh. I can't, like, that's exactly
that
what I
beautiful?
wanted it to be. Magic, myth, love, Christmas, family in all its messy glory. Oh, Molly, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
And a beautiful picture too. That's just
No, the
amazing.
picture is breathtaking.
Gorgeous.
We have quite a few questions.
Okay.
The
hit me with
music
them.
is such a big part of the book. We have quite a few people with different variations, but they'd like to know if there were any specific songs that inspired your book, or any specific songs that were in your head. Everyone wants to know what was going on in your head.
There was no specific song that inspired it. I mean, honestly, that Whenever You Come Around is one of them. But I wanted to, without actually writing the song, I wanted to give the feeling, and I think it was something like this: if you don't tell people what it is, then you can, like you said, imagine. Like, I thought I knew the song. Didn't you write the song? Isn't the song in there? I wanted to give that feeling of what it would be like to try and put into words unexpected love. Like when it just busts in on you and you didn't see it coming. And I wanted that to echo what Christmas is, which is an unimagined love entering the world in a way we wouldn't expect. And so I wanted the love song to be unexpected love entering in a way you didn't expect, at a time you didn't expect, when you might even be resisting it. So, you know, that he writes the song during a Thanksgiving chaotic dinner that he doesn't want to be at, and he's annoyed with his brother for being in love, and then he's like, uh-oh, I might be in the same boat. So I didn't have a specific song as much as a very specific feeling about how that would be expressed in someone's musical talent that I don't have. So
We talked about the covers, and I wanted to share this. There's a couple of people asking what the other cover looked like.
oh yeah, that's the other cover. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice too.
And that was my
Yeah.
first Pat Conroy quote. I was very happy about that.
Oh, yay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah,
was-
they're both beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure are. Well, Lisa, if you don't have a question waiting in the chat, there was a little something I wanted to ask Patti about as well.
Yes,
Will that work?
please
Okay.
do.
So I know you have common themes like the theme of magic and the theme of hope, but family shows up in a lot of different ways in this book. And I guess my roundabout way to ask you is whether you were intending to layer those different kinds of family relationships, because I'm thinking of, Kara and Charlotte
Yep.
as family, then the brothers as, biological family, but then their band members were family, and even down to the village in Ireland. So could you speak to how you weave that all in there? Because I'm really curious.
I love that you noticed that. That makes me really happy. I think I do it in all my books. I think that we are, for better or worse, a product of the environment that we grow up in and don't choose, and then the one we do choose, and then we have our sibling, and then we make family too. What is a sorority? What is Friends in Fiction? I mean, the Meg and Kristen and Christy and Mary Kay and Sean and you two and Ron, we're flipping family. I mean, everybody supports everybody else. So there's always these multi-layers of the family you don't choose that I mean, in my case, I'm lucky, I love and adore, but not everybody does. And then chosen family, and then the family you make when you get married and have kids and do it again. And all of those threads. And so Jimmy and Jack's father abandoned them, and that's why they turned to music in the first place. So I wanted to layer that in. One character lost their mother. I want to weave that in. Then there's chosen family. And then how it can fall apart too. Because when Jimmy gets a lot of fame for this love song, it threatens not only his brother, but the family that is the band. So I always like exploring the ways that family comes together and breaks apart.
Oh, wow.
Beautifully said.
It is. And it really didn't, when you're reading the book, it doesn't take that much for things to spin out of control.
Yes.
Really.
Right. One choice, one leaving, one, and then obviously, because it's a Christmas book and because it's a Patti book, there's a lot about forgiveness and not carrying around what we don't need to carry around. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Sharon would like to know, how did you decide what the hometown of Jimmy and Jack would be? And how did you come up with the name Steele?
So Steele, she's probably asking because she knows. Steele is my mother's maiden name and my daughter's middle name. So my daughter, so my daughter is Megan Steele Henry. She is now Megan Henry Rock because she's married, but her maiden name was Megan Steele Henry. And my mother's maiden name her last name was Steele. So that's where that came from. And I just thought it was a great name for a country music star.
Yeah, it is.
I was like,
it really
is fun. Yeah. So that's where that came from. I rarely use my family's names, but to be honest, the two places I have used family names are the two. If you want to consider Once Upon a Wardrobe, it is kind of a Christmas book because it's about Narnia. It's not a Christmas novella. It's an anytime novel, but it does include Narnia and Christmas, and it ends at Christmas. But I use my family's names in that one too. But that's the only time I've ever done that.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And then how did you come up with the hometown, or where the hometown for Jack and Jimmy would be, or where?
Okay, so Seaboro is a little bit based on Bluffton, South Carolina, a little bit mashed up with the coast because Bluffton actually isn't on the beach, it's on the river. but it's a mashup of all my favorite places in the Low Country, from Defusky Island to Bluffton to Beaufort. It's kind of I rolled it all up into one and made my own town. Little bit of Fripp Island in there. There's a little bit of the way Fripp has that.
Dash of Fripp.
Yep. That one long road, where
Yeah.
the houses on the right are on the water and the houses on the left are on the beach. And whenever I put that in something, people are like, you can't have it on both. I'm like, yes, you can. Have you not been to Fripp? Yes, it is. You can be across the street from the ocean and be on the water.
Well, not only that, but it's fiction.
It's fiction. I made up a town. It's my town, and I can have whatever I want. So
that's right. It's your rules.
Yep.
Maria says she loved the name of the band in Ireland, the Shenanigans, and I have to agree with her. I
forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
So much. That's like one of my favorite words. I use that word all the time for everything.
I totally forgot. I gave that fun band in the pub the name Shenanigans.
Yes. So I wanted to point that out. I forgot about
that too. That's awesome.
Good choice.
Well, yes,
good
absolutely.
Choice past, Patti of the past. Good job.
Well, and this next question, Patti, is not just for you, but it's for our book club members too to share. Now, I have to say, to our readers, at what point did you guys realize that Patti was dropping little Christmas eggs
in the We're going to mix up holidays, Christmas, Easter eggs.
Easter.
Yeah. Christmas Easter eggs in the book, because it took me a while, I have to say, even though I got some of the other stuff right away. But when Jimmy encounters the homeless woman with the little angel, whatever it was on, I was like, okay, she's homeless. But then the little girl was the guiding star, and the guy named
out on her way to the school,
Yes, and she shows him the way to the airport.
And the guy at the airport's name is Joseph.
Yeah. So y'all in the chat, were you quicker on the uptake than Brenda? Let me just ask you that.
I can tell you I was not. I felt like a total idiot because towards the end, when he was telling the story, when they asked him how he got there and he went through and he put it all together, I'm like, oh, I didn't get the Easter eggs.
Then.
Yeah, I was like, completely, I was not. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to have a sprinkle of magic for sure, but also show that magic sometimes is what happens in the everyday world. A little girl who notices and makes a difference, a man at the airport named Joseph, who takes the time to help. So yes, they were little Christmas miracles with little, hints of that, but also they were just people being kind and helping other people.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's sometimes these days the greatest freaking miracle of all, right? So
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking in the chat. Maria said the little girl named Maria and the airport guy named Joseph. That's when she caught on.
Yep.
And she also said she thought of me and the fun when we said the word on Friends and Fiction when she's talking about shenanigans.
Oh, shenanigans.
I think that was one of our buzzwords for
it was one of our hour. If you notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
it seems like we're not alone, Brenda. Not a lot of people didn't catch on right away. Michelle said she knows there were some obvious parts towards the end.
Maria says they were obvious.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, that was Michelle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle.
Yeah.
So what was hard to do with this book, because it was an offshoot of When Light Breaks, was which is why I'm not positive I'd ever write a series. I had to tell you what already happened, right? So Maeve had already met Charlotte, but Maeve died at the end of When Light Breaks, so I can't bring her back to life, right?
Right.
But her legend and her story totally impact this story. And then Kara and Jack's relationship totally impact their relationship. So there was a bit of, okay, let me remind you what happened. And now we're going to go from here. Because it's only a novella. I can't, I'm not writing a, 400-page novel. So.
Well, you packed an awful lot in the novella.
I know. I love
So
it.
let me tell you. And so you mentioned this earlier, Patty, you updated it, you said in like 2019. Would you do anything differently now if you were doing it again, if you were writing it again?
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, all of even the book that comes out next year in May, I'm like, can I have it back just for a week? Can I just have it back for I'll give it back to you in a week. And it's like in print. Like, there's nothing I can do. So all 15 of my books, or including the new one, 16, I'm sure there are things, every single one of them is this slice out of time in that world, right? So if you pick it up and move it to today, it would carry with it this slice of time right now, right? It would carry with it things I've learned, things I've read, things I've listened to, experiences I've had. I jokingly, but seriously, especially when I teach, always say, we only have our own compost pile to write from, right? I can't write from your experiences, right?
Right.
I can write from the world's experience in fiction, but still it has to come through me. Things I've listened to, read, understood, I'm a weirdo and I read psychology books. And so if you take any book out of that particular moment in my life and try to put it in another moment in my life, of course, there are things I would change. What I would like to do with, The Perfect Love Song is expand it. I would like to see it. It definitely has the potential to be a full-length novel, but it is this little, for me, just this little gift. Like, here's a gift of a little magic and a little myth and a little love and a dash of Ireland. So.
Oh my goodness. I want to write that down and then give this book to everybody.
Oh. Thank you.
It's
can take that
beautiful.
snippet out and just send it. I don't know.
You always have your words are just so masterful and just poetic, lyrical even. You're just so good with your writing is just, it blows me away. And this book did not.
Thank you.
It didn't, it was the same. There's so many quotable things from your books and beautiful quotes that stick with you. And I guess
that
that's why
means so much to me.
To get in your mind.
Oh no, you don't want to be in that crazy place. Woo, be careful what you wish for. You don't want to be running around in there.
We've had more questions tonight about what you were thinking about or what was in your head or what you were inspired by than we've ever had before. Like, what song was she thinking about, or what this? It does not surprise me, because that mind of yours is.
Oh, you're so kind. I'm getting a little blush. I think we talk about this on the show sometimes, but I think that being curious about the world is why y'all love being readers and why I love being a writer, and while our book club members and our members over on the other page too are so. That's why it's the best place on the internet, the Friends of Fiction page and the book club page, because there are people who are curious about the world, and when you're curious about the world, and I love that they're wondering what I was thinking. And I usually am thinking when I'm writing in terms of theme, which is also a hindrance because it's a little too general. So to get into where Mary Kay, we talk about this a lot. Mary Kay thinks very in the specific. So she sees a character stuck under a house and a foot goes through the boards and she wants to know what's going to happen next. And I'm thinking, I wonder what would happen if you wrote a song about unexpected love and people put their own, right? So when I start there, that's what the story grows out of.
Isn't that fascinating? Because it's like Mary Kay does it from here out, and you're starting up here and
Here and going in.
working your way down.
So if I show her my work too early, for example, like I show her an opening chapter of something I'm working on, she'll be like, I don't see it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I'm going to get there. I promise. So I think there's just different ways. I'm always thinking, I'm always curious about things and ideas and themes. And that's where these things grow out of. What would happen?
And the amazing thing for us as readers is it works out
in the
both
end
ways, always, because it's always a great story. Lisa, you had another question, didn't you?
Yes, I have one more question, and then I'll kick it back to Brenda. Christina would like to know, what other book that you have written would you like to do a spinoff as a Christmas novella?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
I was going to say, that's a good question.
That's a really good question that I don't have an answer to. I think it would be fun to show C.S. Lewis, the Becoming Mrs. Lewis, show them having a Christmas together, because they had a number of Christmases together. I think that would be fun.
Cool.
Oh, wow. What other characters would I want to pull out? You haven't read Secret Book of Flora Lee yet, so I can't, I don't want to give anything away by saying that might have a good Christmas novella built into it.
But she did kind of say it, so
I did kind of say it. Surviving Savannah, I think we could take, but no, I have not thought about doing it for any of my novels, but I think all of them, you could pull out a couple characters. And what seemed so natural for this one, to have the characters have a Christmas novella, is we left the best friend and the brother a little bit unsolved. Most of my novels, all of my novels, I ask a question, I write my way into the answer to that question. So, for example, in The Secret Book of Flora Lee, it's what happened to her missing sister, and can this fairy tale solve the mystery? And then I answer the question. So there's not usually a lot of dangling characters left. In Surviving Savannah, how did they survive, and how did they survive the surviving? Right. So those were the questions I asked. And when I do it that way, it doesn't leave. But in When Light Breaks, they were just sitting there like, hey, we're over here. You forgot about us. So.
Oh, were they calling to you?
Patti.
Anissa says she'd like a prequel to Once Upon a Wardrobe, so we can spend more time with George. And a lot of people in the chat agree with her.
Oh, that's a really sweet idea. Yeah. I think Megs and George would have a really fun Christmas story before he I'd like to see a Christmas sequel to A Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but I'm not allowed to write that one. So
yeah. Well, that is too bad, because it would be awesome. Well, since you mentioned, since you gave us a peek at Flora Lee, and it's coming up in May, Patti, could you tell us, when to expect it, and when you're going to launch it? Tell us some details about that.
I will. Hold on. I think I have it right here. So, The Secret Book of Flora Lee. This is my favorite cover I think I've ever had. Although I really love the cover of Once Upon a Wardrobe too. So The Secret Book of Flora Lee comes out on May 2nd of next year. So 4.5 months from now, which I can't believe it's coming up that fast. By the time we get through the holidays and get to the new year, we're going to be pedal to the gas. So their advanced reader copies are just now going out. And so I'm like doing the thing, but I'm really obsessed with this book and these sisters and this story. This book grew out of a seed of when I was writing Once Upon a Wardrobe. And that book, if you haven't read it, is about part of what it's about is the 7 events in C.S. Lewis's life that you can see in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And one of those events in his life is that children came to live with him during World War II. And that was called Operation Pied Piper, where they would send children out of the cities to live in the country with strangers. And I just, once again, I know you're shocked, but I was really curious about this myth and legend of the Pied Piper. Like, why would they call it Operation Pied Piper? Because if you know anything about legends, number one, the Pied Piper is a German legend. Let's go backwards. This is World War II, and we're in England, and they picked a German legend. And in that legend, the Pied Piper plays a flute and leads all the children out of the city to drown and die. It's a terrible Grimm's fairy tale. And horrible. So why would they name this operation meant to keep children safe? That is the seed the story grew out of. But to make it brief, the story is about 2 sisters named Hazel and Flora Lee. And Hazel is 14 and Flora Lee is 5 when they are sent to the country to live with strangers. They are sent to this charming hamlet outside Oxford, England called Binsey, which is a very real place. And if you follow me on social media, I have loads of pictures. And in the new year, part of my pre-order package is going to be this travel journal that has all the pictures from the journey explaining what they mean in the novel. It was an incredible, but this hamlet is amazing. So they go to live in this hamlet with this lovely mother and son, and it's right on the River Thames. And the older sister Hazel keeps the younger sister Flora Lee calm by making up a fairy tale world for just the 2 of them. And that fairy tale world is called Whisperwood. And they go there at night. They tell each other stories. In Whisperwood, they can be anything they want to be. And they play in the woodlands surrounding Binsey. They're in Whisperwood. And a year later, the little sister goes missing. Flora Lee goes missing. It is assumed that she has drowned in the River Thames. And Hazel carries around this guilt because she believes that her sister went to find Whisperwood and got lost. And then 20 years passes and the book opens when Hazel is working in an antiquarian bookshop in London, and a package comes in, and it is a beautiful illustrated American book of fairy tales called Whisperwood. I love that, Brenda. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that.
It's so good.
That gave me chills.
Delicious. So
I can't wait to get my
about,
hands on it.
fairy tales and magic and loss and guilt and
Chills.
the carrying unnecessary, the things we carry around our lives that we don't need to carry. And it's about how a fairy tale solves the mystery of a 20-year missing sister.
Wow.
I cannot wait.
I know.
Before we let you go, I know we're going a little over, but it's our last one of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Schools
Is
are out
it
the
really
window.
8? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I know.
I thought it was like
So
7:30.
Hard to believe.
Okay, go ahead.
You have a big event coming up on May 1st to launch this fabulous book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh my gosh. So I hope you all haven't left yet. It's 8:01. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. In fact, so I'm in South Carolina right now. My husband and I, we're going to go to Charleston tomorrow, and we're going to run by and see Polly and talk a little bit about the party. I'm dying to see the theater. So the big Friends and Fiction live event with all of us, including y'all and Ron and Meg and Mary Kay and Kristen and Christy, May 1st will be in Charleston. It's a Monday night, the night before publication. We got special permission, and it's going to be at this gorgeous Art Deco 100-year-old theater on King Street called the Riviera. We're going to have a VIP reception on the top of the theater, and we have big things planned. So you don't want to miss it. You'll have FOMO if you miss it. I'm just saying.
You will have FOMO for sure, but I just want to point out, because Brenda and I wanted to make this announcement. We're so glad that you said it. We have not shared yet, but Brenda and I will be there. No, we were doing it right now. We were about to do it. So I'm so glad you said it. And then you said it, I'm like, yeah,
Patty.
Brenda and I will both be in Charleston, so it will be the whole Friends in Fiction family. So if you have not gotten your tickets, definitely get them, because we will be there, and we are so excited.
And there's a bunch of little add-on things. So there's a VIP reception if you want to do that at the top of the theater. And the next morning, there's going to be a coffee at the bookshop in case you didn't, it was too crazy or whatever. So it's going to be, there'll be lots of different opportunities for gathering and getting together. And as time gets closer, we'll talk about meetup spots and where people can find each other, and we'll do something really fun.
And
but
we
tickets are going to sell out really fast. Polly,
Yeah.
the owner of the bookstore, texted me the other day and just said, I cannot, it's only December. What's happening? I'm like, we're amazing. I don't know.
Amazing.
Wow.
So, and I'm planning some really, I'm planning some really fun things for that night on the stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to embarrass some of our friends.
Uh-oh.
Well, we cannot wait either, Patty. That is so exciting.
You might have to wear a hat.
Brenda's like, Brenda said, save some tickets for us.
That's cute. That's really cute. As if
Just saying.
I just heard it. I mean, you said it, but it just registered late. I don't know. We're silly. It's holiday week.
I know.
What a
That's
great
right.
way to end the year on our on the book club. This is so much fun. I'm so happy we got to talk about that song.
I am too.
I'm so glad. Me too. And thank you for sticking around a little late. We just want to thank all of our friends and our family and everyone, our Friends in Fiction family, for sticking with us this year. And we have so many fun things planned in 2023. But before then, we do have a special takeover on Wednesday night. And Brenda and I, and Meg and Ron, the fearsome foursome return. And we've got some fun things. Brenda and I did some planning last night, and we were in hysterics. So you definitely want to join us. I can't wait
to be the watcher. I can't wait to log in on Wednesday night with no makeup, in my jammies, and watch you guys and wrap gifts and not be in charge. It's going to be awesome. And we're announcing, I know everybody knows this, we're announcing our winter season, and y'all are gonna.
We got our sneak peek, and you guys are going to be mind blown. It's a wonderful season. We're going to talk about the podcast and what's coming up. We've got some giveaways, and we even have a surprise guest that Ron and Meg do not know about.
You have to tell me.
You'll have
you have to tell me in the private chat.
Ron hates surprises, and we do it every time with him.
We haven't even told them that there is a surprise again. This is the first time we've said it right now. So,
well, Ron's in New York, so he's probably not watching. So,
yeah, I know.
Celebrating his birthday in New York.
We'll tell him on Wednesday when that person.
Well, I'm going to be there on the other side of the screen for once. I can't wait.
Oh, that's so funny. Yay. That's exciting too.
Yeah,
Patty, we so appreciate your being here tonight. If anybody's still watching and they haven't picked up this wonderful Christmas novella, please do, because it's amazing.
Wait, who do you guys have in January? Who's January? Or have you not announced it yet?
We do have January is Zibby Owens on January 23rd. We're doing
our first nonfiction.
Our first nonfiction book. And February 20th, we have Sonali Dev and the Vibrant Years. And March 20th, we're doing The House of Eve by Sadiqa Johnson.
So March 20th is my birthday.
Oh,
And I read that book. I blurbed that book. It's beautiful. So I'll have to stop by. So
well, you may
will
have to
wish you a
come on
happy
with your party
birthday
hat.
then.
I have one. All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you for having me.
You're
That was so
awesome.
fun.
Thank you for hanging out with
Thank you
us.
so much, Patty.
Happy
Have a great
holidays.
week
Love
and
you
happy
guys. Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Love
Happy
you.
Hanukkah. Happy holidays. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I
That
just
was
love
such a great
her.
discussion. I do
I
too. I
know.
mean, I could just listen just about the craft,
It
about
went
how
by
things
so fast.
fast.
I
I
mean, it's
know, it really did.
8:07 and she was still hanging out. And I hope I said the right, I think I said the right dates, but I think I said it right. Y'all,
You did. I was gonna say kudos to you, Lisa, because you rattled it. You rattled it off.
I don't know how because my brain is like holiday brain.
You were like
Um,
Superwoman with all the dates right there. So great
I
job.
do want to mention February 9th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern is our next happy hour with Ron. So put that on your calendar as well. I did all the book club discussions, but we can't forget about happy hour because that's so much fun.
I know it really is. We have to find another surprise though, so that'll be our task in between.
I know we got to have another surprise guest for happy hour. Now there's pressure.
I know it was just kind of a random thing, but now it's kind of an expectation, may I say.
Well,
Oh goodness.
this has been just a fabulous night and it's gone by way too fast.
It has, and I can't wait to go back and read the comments that, they go by sometimes kind of fast. So I want to go back and read all the comments about the love songs and the Christmas songs and the family relationships that people talked about from the book.
Dallas just said, I'm sure you can wrangle a surprise. We will. We always do.
We will do our
No.
best.
We do have one for Wednesday night for our takeover. So on the main page at 7, when you're normally watching the Fab Four, you will see Brenda and I and Meg and Ron, and it's going to be a fun night. So you don't want to miss it.
Yes, and that's on the main Friends and Fiction page, not on the book club page, because we are taking over the main page.
And also, we will remind everyone about the 2023 reading challenge that Anissa is heading up again. But this year, it will be on the book club page. We will be hosting it. So if you're looking for the 2023 reading challenge, it is posted on the featured tab on our page. But we will also bring that up again on Wednesday so people don't get confused. So we're excited about that as well. Lots of fun things coming up.
It is, and I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday and a fantastic new year. We'll see many of you on the takeover night, but if not, we wish you just wonderful holidays and happy reading.
Yep. Happy reading and happy Hanukkah. Bye.
What?
PB&J
No PB&J.
It was coming.
I was waiting for it. Night, everybody.
Good night.